Welcome.
And welcome to the show. I'm your host, Joey Wobbs. That is Mr. Link. This is Wabbslink, episode 23. And we are here to speak on what happened this week and what is happening in the next week and over the weekend. As for Chelsea, the weekend just starts tomorrow. But for Link, I think he has a game, I think Saturday or Sunday, probably Sunday, I'm guessing. Um,
Or
but
Sunday, yeah.
mostly we got to talk about the week and like what happened during this week. Both of us have taken some major L's in different ways. So I think it's best if I go first since you had two games. So um, I'm going to go about Chelsea and what happened with Chelsea this week. Uh, so, as everyone knows, Nico Jackson got hurt in the West Ham game, and he's going to be out for a couple weeks. He's going to be out for at least a month or so, probably 2 months at this point, from what I'm understanding. This is just the irony of what I've been saying for the last fucking year. Like I've been asking for a striker for the last year, and this is what we get as this is what they get as sporting directors by not going and getting a striker. Us getting knocked out of the cup by Brighton. Nkuku is supposed to be like this. Everyone like puts Nkuku on this pedestal of a great goal scorer, and he is. But in the end, like you're asking him to be the only striker up there. No inside forwards. His his 10 is playing more like a playmaker than a shadow striker, and we're in a really rough situation because of it in the end. And it showed from the Brighton game how much we struggled to create for Nkuku because we decided we're going to cross the ball in the air, then cross the ball. I don't know who's telling these people to cross the ball in the air. It's not like we have a striker who you can cross the ball in the air to other than Q. And Q is actually pretty decent in the air. So, like, once again, I'm Q Nation. I hope he gets his opportunity. It sucks that he got injured at this time with Nico injured because this would have been the perfect runway for him to show what a real striker looks like in this football team. Like an actual striker and a true nine would look like in this football team. So it's rough. It's rough settings. I'm not happy about it overall. The 2-1 isn't really what I'm disappointed in. It's just disappointed in the way that he set us up for the 2-1. Like, realistically, the second goal was a handball in two different scenarios. So, like, I'm not necessarily that upset about the result. But in the end, it's like you have them again this weekend. So you have to adjust to be able to win that game now. Like, they're not going to adjust. I promise you right that now. That guy, he's not adjusting to what he did in that last game. So it's your turn now, Maresca, to get your get back in this one. Okay? Plain and simple. All right? Outside of that, I don't really have much to say about Chelsea other than the fucking disappointment I have for this football club is immeasurable because of the lack of squad building. I consistently keep on bringing up over and over, week after week. I mean, Link knows all my best hits at this current moment, so I don't really have much more to say. Like all my best hits are just coming to fruition. I told y'all motherfuckers I needed a striker. We didn't get one.
Yeah.
Now we suffer the consequences for not getting one, like I said we would. Link,
It's funny you say that. That's kind of the theme for a lot of teams in the Prem uh, that didn't spend. Arsenal, Liverpool didn't spend, and we're already starting to see.
I mean,
And I
Newcastle's
don't
right there too. Newcastle's
Yeah,
an Isak injury away from being in the same spot as fucking all of us.
Exactly, and it's like it's not a direct link of causation, but you can't help to what if you did just go buy one extra player, you know. Um, and so I do get your frustration. I understand it. Um, but me, I the more I watch Chelsea in the in 2025, the more I have for coach. And I know that's not the best way to start that, but I feel like there's a disconnect between your sporting direct overall progression of your side outside of acquiring just promising assets. That's my own personal opinion on that, but I feel like the
Bro,
way
even if
that
we
he's
had
played
Matthias
has
Tell, that shit
changed.
wouldn't be as bad as it is right now, in my
Right.
opinion.
Yeah. I hear you. It's like some of the stuff I used to see, the patterns of play I would see with Chelsea to begin the year, and this was in preseason, and when he his tactics around week 2 or 3 we were talking about. I'm seeing less and less of that football. I feel like he has gotten to a point where he has been able to ingrain the way he wants to play into his players a decent amount to where now he's telling them we're now at the whole maverick side of your team and your counter-attacking ability. I feel like that's kind of been blunted as of late because he wants this to be shown now that he's been there 5 months. Like the play through the
I mean,
middle of
I
the
have to
field,
disagree with you
I
there,
just
bro.
don't see it
I'm
anymore.
just gonna have to disagree with you there, bro. Like,
That's fine. I'd rather you explain it to me
like,
though.
like to me, this, in my opinion, to me is a Cole Palmer form thing, and I don't want to hear play Cole Palmer on the right wing because in the second half of last year, Cole Palmer played specifically in the 10. Okay, so I don't want to hear Cole Palmer right wing. Okay, like Mons tried to tell me that shit earlier today, and I was just listening to him. Like, come on, bro. Like that has nothing to do with Cole Palmer's decision making on the ball. Cole Palmer's decision making on the ball has been atrocious over the last fucking 3 months, 2 months. It's been atrocious. Okay? It's been atrocious decision making. No one wants to call it out. I will call it out. His decision making is atrocious over the last 3 months. It's been like 5 games, 6 games. Garbage decision making. He's been our counter. He's been the man to create the counters. It's either him or Caicedo. Enzo wasn't even in that game, so I can't blame him. But it's either him and Caicedo. Caicedo created 3 opportunities for players to run in on net. KDH and Kuku, who I don't know why the fucking Kuku didn't strike the ball. But he puts
Yeah,
people
you're talking
in.
about when they were both on goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, when
KDH was
we
in
tried
on
to pop
goal
it
and
up.
Kuku was in on goal. Both from Caicedo. Cole Palmer, on the other hand, needs to hit the ball into space. He keeps the ball on the ground. It gets intercepted 3 different fucking times on the counter. Not to mention this, okay? Robert, Link, when I first told you the problem about this team, when I said it is easy to defend us, okay? Because we do not have an outlet.
Mm-hmm.
It is it's the same fucking thing that keeps on happening. Robert Sanchez gets the ball. We pass the ball between the defenders. Robert Sanchez gets the ball. They mark out they man mark everyone as soon as he gets the ball. Everyone gets man marked. Everyone finds a man, right? Robert Sanchez has to decide, what am I going to do? Am I going to hit the ball to Cucurella all the way on the left-hand side, who's wide open? Which was open all game. Open all game. The entire game, all he had to do for his outlet in the entire game was he would get the ball on the right-hand side, outlet to Cucurella on the left-hand side. He was open the entire game. No one was defending him. He did it a couple times, but instead, he would hit the ball long. You hit the ball long, you don't have no possession. You're not holding on the possession if you hit the ball long. You're not getting possession, especially in a team of this with this height, a team with no outlet.
Yeah, exactly. With Nkunku up top right now.
With Nkunku up top. Today, I promise you, go watch our game tomorrow. Watch how much difference and control we have compared to the previous Brighton game. It's night and day when Jorgensen's in goal. Night and day. Because Jorgensen, the one thing he's elite at is passing the ball through the lines. It's the one thing he's elite at as a goalkeeper. He actually picks up the ball, he looks in between the lines, and he's making passes into the midfield. As soon as you're capable of doing that, control is a different aspect. Because now our midfield is our strongest aspect. You get the ball into our midfield, we're controlling the game. If you bypass the midfield every time, how are we controlling this fucking game? How are we controlling any game? If you're bypassing it every time. So to me, it's two things. Lack of outlet. So if you're gonna have a lack of outlet, you can't play the ball long. That's what Robert Sanchez wants to do every single fucking time. Today, Maresca came out and said, Jorgensen's our Premier League starter. This is what he came out and said. So, we'll see. I'm being serious. I really don't think Brighton would have scored anything if we controlled the game. But we let them get the ball on the counter, get the ball on quick turnarounds from a deep ball, from a pass that goes into a center back. Our defense can't reset because we're all trying to run deep for Robert Sanchez to be able to hit the ball. Makes no sense. Now that Jorgensen's there, when you watch us against West Ham, what did West Ham do the entire game? They couldn't do nothing. Why? Because we weren't causing mistakes. The only mistake we caused was on our own from fucking Levi Colwell, but they didn't do nothing on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And Brighton won't do nothing either on the ball if you fucking are set up defensively. But you can't be set up defensively when you fucking hit the ball 60 yards and then one pass can cut right through your entire team because your team is stretched out at that point. It's the stupidest concept. I'm sitting here as a football fan. Like, yes, I'm a tactico. I can understand football better than most. But I sit there as a football fan wondering, what the fuck is this guy doing the entire game? 37% long ball percentage. After the first two, you see it don't go through. You should be stopping that shit. After the first two. 19 long balls in the game? Are you fucking kidding me?
And you complete less than half.
Jorgensen attempted two in the West Ham game.
Shows the difference.
How the fuck we go from 2 to 19? Can someone answer that fucking question for me? No, because he's a brain-dead goalkeeper. That's it. Now, the thing is, bro, you can't press Jorgensen either. You try to press him, see what the fuck happens. He'll cut right through you. He'll cut a pass right through you. He doesn't give a fuck. I'm being serious. He's Ederson. He can't save shit. He can barely save shit. His distance isn't that good. But when it comes to passing the ball, the guy can pass through the fucking lines. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But you don't need to make a bunch of saves if you control the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it just took him fucking. Roberts, and the worst part was Robert Sanchez was willing to pass the ball through the lines in the beginning of the year. Now he doesn't do it at all because he's made too many mistakes. Because he's already made too many mistakes.
He's been scarred. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
But that's what it is. That's what it comes down to. Like these guys. Like I don't think it's an Nkunku problem. I don't think it's this team decides I'm gonna pass the ball in the air. Why? We have a 5'9" striker. Why? Big up.
Because coach said to.
Big up, Marwan. Big up. All right, Link.
Big up, Marwan.
I'm done ranting.
You're done ranting, so I get to rant?
Yep. I'm done ranting. So, first and foremost, I didn't watch too much of the Plymouth game, okay? I was, like, cleaning my house before the Super Bowl and shit. So, you tell me. We'll start there. Will you tell me what happened with that game? Because I can tell you what happened at Everton.
Man, I just... I was fine. And
you tell me what happened
at Plymouth.
We'll have a conversation about Everton.
Man, you can't win you can try to win every game. You can't play the same 11 every game. Slot went into the game for Plymouth to make those changes, right? Everyone knew that the rotation had to happen at some point. It wasn't going to happen against Everton. And we have Newcastle, City, and Wolves, and some other away trip in there in the next four, right? So
Yeah,
this
you
is
have
the only
Wolves
break
next.
that yeah, that was the only break that these players are probably going to get. The Van Dijks, the Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Salah. At least maybe a month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah, but
You think
there
about
was
it.
still enough
So
on the lineup to do something, you know.
we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
So right. So I don't like Slot deserves some blame over the last week, but I think it's been targeted in the but I just wanted to say that. So Slot had to rest those players, right? So he rested the players he did, our big hitters. The lineup that we put in no world, reality, realm, different timeline should that team not be, let alone goal be getting knocked out against Plymouth, right? That shouldn't happen. There's no excuse for that. There's too many names that people know, regardless of whether you rate them or not. There's too many names on the field for you guys to put up a performance like that and not get a result. One thing to do Forest, another thing to be Man U, another thing to be Newcastle. But what do they all have in common? They're in the next round. So it's a frustrating loss, and it's so inconsequential in our scope of the Premier League that it has to pitch. It's like a pen in a very dull part of your body. Like you get something in the right part of your foot, you don't notice it or it doesn't bother you for a couple days, and you let that shit sit for 2 weeks, and you're like, well, shit, this kind of hurts. It's one of those. It's a splinter. And I went into the game, and we're not going to jump there yet, but I went into the Everton game saying the FA Cup doesn't matter if we beat Everton. So that's just at the end. But now you look at both results, and then you have to pinpoint why it happened. Not much is blame, but why it happened. Joe Gomez gets hurt. Joe Gomez might be done for the season, right? So Joe Gomez gets hurt 8 minutes in. That ruins for his tactics and his substitutes. He brings on an 18-year-old in bio. He has to shuffle things around. So that's the first part with the defense and the subs. I kind of give him an excuse for that. The second part is that we started a front three of Diaz, Jota, and we had and remember our conversation last week, we had the great Harvey Elliott starting in midfield, right? So that's four attackers that should be getting decent playing time for Liverpool. There's four attackers that have been rated by certain sects of fans that should be doing. Yet we did what? Absolutely nothing. I'm trying not to curse. So the blame has to go on them for whatever. The senior players didn't play well enough, and there's no excuse for that because these are the same players that have question marks over their time there. Even Nunes came up, wasn't able to do much. But if you look at that lineup of players, everyone that played against Plymouth is either rooming or could leave in the summer. Unless they're a youth player.
Okay. That's fair. I mean, like, it's still like to me, it's still a terrible loss. Like, right? Like, it's like, however, no matter how you look at it, no matter how you spin it, it's a terrible
I
fucking
don't like,
loss.
and this is the thing. Like, it could
Here's
be
the
a
thing,
terrible
right?
loss,
No,
but
no,
it's
no, no,
just
no.
like
I don't care though. I don't care because like this is a team. Plymouth is a team right now that's at the bottom of their own division, right? In a division lower than you. That's like nearly 60 teams that are different in between you guys. So it's like
44.
Like to me, this is it. Like it's a terrible loss in the end, like the Plymouth one. But like that one really isn't like I don't necessarily think it should be like an upsetting loss, right? Like it shouldn't be something that like tears the
It's
team
not.
down, tears the fan base down, and it shouldn't be. Now that Everton game, man, what a game that was! They were. You got to give credit to Everton. They were great in that game.
Bro.
Like they
Everton
were
were great, bro. They
in that
called
game,
twice as
right?
many fouled against us, bro. They had 36% possession, but we fouled them 20 times. So we fouled them every 6. That's what you're telling me? Everton did what they were
Bro,
supposed to do. They followed
bro,
instructions. They work hard. But, bro, they shouldn't have had either goal, bro. Like, we just didn't do enough. Do the whole Everton prop shit. Like, personally, I'm sorry for cutting you off, but Everton just ran around and tried to make a mess of the game. They did that well, and Oliver helped them out.
But what
Like,
do
they
you
didn't do
expect from
fuck.
that team, bro? They had a good. Bro, what do you expect more than what they could do? That's what they can do. That's what they can do in this.
Bro,
In this. What
but
do you
like,
expect from
just
them? That's how
props to
you play
Everton.
that game.
I'm not propping up Everton for being a bunch of bums running around and trying to hurt my players the time we play at Goodison Park. I'm just not. I'm not. Like, they got the point, good to them, but I'm not upping them for this shit. I'm really not. Like, I don't want to blame us. We didn't do enough, but they shouldn't have had the fucking free kick that they scored on. Bradley kept them on side because he wasn't paying attention. Why is Kanate not able to keep up with fucking? I have all these questions about the first goal.
Yeah, but weren't there other
You go
calls
through
that
all these
Everton
fucking
didn't
fouls.
get? Wasn't there other calls that Everton
That
didn't get?
fucking
The Bradley
if you're
penalty.
talking about
The
no, it wasn't a Bradley penalty. They said that Bradley should have been off because he had a foul that they didn't call for a second yellow, and then they're bitching about a hand on Kanate, but it hits Beto first, and they're both fighting each other trying to get into position. So if you're not going to call a handball on Beto, you can't call it on Kanate. That makes no sense. Like, I'm pissed about
the
that
ball
too.
hit
They're trying
Beto's
to make
hand
this
first.
bro. So Beto he's not goal side, but he has the side to the ball. Kanate's trying to wrestle to get in position with him. It goes around them. It hits Beto's hand as his hand is like going through. So there's like a frame, if that, for you to be able to tell the difference. So they didn't call anything because they couldn't tell.
I'm not gonna let you do
right?
that for Everton, dude. I'm
What
not
do you
let
mean?
do
You
that.
can go look at it.
No,
Go
no, no.
look at it. Go look at it.
Not necessarily like the calls, but I'm talking about like the type of effort they put out for that game, comparably to like respectively like how you treated the game, right? Like they came out and respectfully like you guys treated the game like any other game, right? As you should. They treated it like it was their cup final. And that's a dangerous team to play against, regardless on how you want to put it, regardless on how many fouls they made, regardless on they made it a dirty game. And in the end, they got a point from it. Like you got to respect it in some way,
Fuck
right?
that.
And I'm not saying
no,
that
I don't
you
respect it.
Respect it.
No,
I'm not saying that you
no,
have to respect
I
it,
can't.
Link.
I can't.
But in the end, that's
No.
sometimes how football rolls. Like I know this. The
Of course,
first
that's
goal.
how football rolls.
No, let me finish, bro. I let you finish. Go. The I know the first goal. You know, it probably wasn't a foul on them to begin with, but even so, the ref calls a foul, right? You have to fucking be awake for a free kick like that. You have to be awake for it. If he calls a foul, regardless on if you did like it or not, you have to be awake for a quick free kick.
Did I not say that Bradley should have been switched on? He left the guy on, and I said Kanate can't get beat there. Is that not what I said?
I'm pretty sure it was Konate that kept him on, right?
No, Bradley kept him on, and Kanate didn't keep up with him. I said that.
Okay.
Things that we did wrong. That's why it's not just a ref thing. It's the fact that you're able to get ahead after all that bullshit in the last kick of the game to equalize, which is similar to what happened in Newcastle. They shouldn't have had either goal that they scored.
What about the last kick of the game was wrong? What about that last kick of the game was wrong? What about it was wrong?
Are you saying this because you don't believe you've seen, or are you saying this out of lack of information?
I'm asking you a question, right? If I'm asking you a question, it's based off of lack of information.
Okay, so I did. They run into each other at 93-20. Play is stopped because they run into each other at 93-20. Before they stop the play, Jota and tries to dribble 3 people in the box instead of shooting, and he's my bagsman. So after he misses his chance, they stop play. The players are up before the 95th minute, right? So you can add on time, whatever. It's less than 2 minutes. The goal was scored in 97-30. So I'm already upset about time. And I know it's a minimum. I know it's a minimum. I know the language. It's a minimum of time. After you do that, you take into the fact that Beto does not go for the ball, but yet he's allowed to impede and remove Konate from the airspace he is trying to claim.
Yeah,
Now,
that
you can
happens in
say that
every
it's soft.
single. That happens in every
So
challenge.
you say they called the foul earlier in the game for less contact, right? And I mentioned the thing, Salah is a 1v4, beats 3 men. Oliver is less than 10 yards away, and he waves a no call on the most of the fucking game. Okay? So you take all that into play. I'm not blaming Oliver. I'm still upset to clear the ball out because it's the last kick of the game. I'm upset because we switched off for the free kick and they shouldn't have scored the first goal. All of that, I don't give respect to Everton for that game. They did what they were supposed to do. It's a derby game. Everton does this every time. They kick the shit out of us and they work hard. I'm not going to give them respect for what I expected for them. I just can't, especially how the game has ended and the shit that went on after the whistle. How do you give a coach a red card for shaking your hand vigorously and saying good job? Where is the violent? Where is the content? Where is the abusive language
That shit
for
will get
being
rescinded,
sarcastic?
bro. Just chill out. That shit will get rescinded.
Of course. Problem is that the Premier League is run like a gang. They're fucking unionized, protecting each other, bro. Like, how can you red card both of our coaches so that no one can speak after the game? So now no one knows what happened outside of the Premier League.
You can't do.
Because,
Wait, what? What was that last part?
so this is what happened. So they gave Slaughter red. They gave our assistant a red. Then they said we're not allowed to have a post match because you can't speak after getting a red card. So there's no comment from anyone other than Van Dijk, who was salty. Like, it's bullshit. And all that bullshit makes me more mad at my club for allowing that to be the problem. It shouldn't have never got. So if you want to give Everton respect for staying in the game long enough or whatever, sure, but I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
I just thought they showed a good account of themselves. That's all. That's all. Like,
They've
I
been
don't think
playing
that
well
they
the
were
last
anything
month.
special, but like I thought they showed a good account of themselves. Like, I don't like what type of quality am I looking at right now other than a bottom side fucking team? And I always thought Beto was a pretty good striker at Udinese. Like, he was always okay. So like to see him get going. Like, this isn't the first game he scored. Like, this is like the third
No,
game in a row.
he's been playing. Bro, they've been playing well under Moyes. Like,
Yeah. So like I don't.
they've been playing well under
To
Moyes.
me, I just feel like they showed a good account of themselves. Like, yeah, like to me, I understand the whole like them kicking the shit out of us and everything. That's how what happens when we play Forest, right? Whenever Chelsea plays Forest, that's the entire game. What you saw against fucking, that's what we get. Yates fucking hacking people all over the pitch. Fucking Murillo hacking people all over the pitch. Like, this is what they get. They're that they try to be an out physical. You guys showed that you were the better team and you got ahead, right? And then little bit of luck, okay, in my opinion, because you're right. That push is a push, but there's the way that these refs judge these things nowadays. It's based off of what they feel like the judgment should be, and bro, I'm telling you, we've been, like I've told you, we've been screwed multiple times this year. Multiple fucking times this year. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. If there's anybody who gets it, I get it. Because if we had the 2 points, the 3 points, it's actually 4 points that we would have had from Ipswich, from Palace, from Everton. We should have had we had mistakes in all 3 of those games, and they came out and apologized for them. We would be in second. Even with all this shit, we would be in second.
And so, but like, this is my thing.
So like, to me, I can't be like super empathetic with you about the mistakes, right? Because of like, it's happening to everybody, right? Like, I'm not saying, I don't want you to feel like I'm trying to dismiss the way that you feel about this whole thing, but I can't be empathetic based off of like what's already happened to me. And this is, you're right, they make it a game, right? Because now that all of us feel pain, we all have to normalize the pain that they provide to us. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like every single one of them want to normalize it. That's what they want, bro. They want to normalize these situations. They want to normalize these situations for the drama. Do you understand? Yeah. Like, that type of drama doesn't happen in the foul. Do you see what I mean? That 100%. Call, by the way, Peter Drury, like, the call that Peter Drury had on that was fucking magnificent. It was one of the coolest calls ever. I know it's a painful call for you, but like, the call that he had on that moment was fucking awesome. And I take sportscasting very seriously, regardless if it's against me or if it's not against me. So like, that was a really cool call, just the moment of it all. I know it caused pain, and I know realistically, like fucking Neto or whoever the guy that it was, Beto or whatever it was, should have been a foul on that guy from the beginning when the ball went over Konate's head. Like, that's so it would have been over there. It's it right there. Game over. Right when he makes that foul. Over.
And he was offsides.
Who's offsides?
Fucking Beto.
Yeah, but
whoever the first guy.
That doesn't matter, bro, because he doesn't touch the ball, bro.
But he makes it. Don't.
I know he affects the play, but nobody.
Please do not.
The thing is he doesn't. Nobody touches the ball, Link. Nobody touches the ball. So
play on it. He makes a play on it. The first person to make the play on the ball was offside.
I think it's a foul. Personally, there's no way it's offside.
There was 2.
I think it's a foul. I don't think it's offside. It's just my opinion.
Both. They've shown other views. He's offside. He's offside.
No butthurt over this one, though. This one, you are extremely butthurt.
No, because I'm over the narratives and the conversations that are coming from this. Like, Liverpool has always had a stick up their ass about.
Like,
but that's not the point.
I'm not gonna even ask you what you think the implications are, because your closest rival just lost their only striker left. So what should I ask you about that implication? I'm not about to ask you that. I'm asking you this game specifically, regardless on what the calls are, and I think you agree with me, is on your team. It's on your team for not showing, at least giving a little bit more energy to the occasion itself, because in the end, Everton made it an occasion, right? Like, it felt like you guys didn't take it seriously. You took it like any other game, and like, for them, it was their cup final. Like, it didn't feel like you say that the type of energy that you normally would in a bigger game per se.
But how can you say that until the 95th minute? It's not like we lost. We were controlling the game as needed.
Your goal came from a deflection that Salah was in the right place in the right time. It's not like you were brilliant in that game. Don't act like you were brilliant.
No, but when are we? How often are we brilliant? I tell you every week.
But you do create. You didn't. It's not. But bro, you didn't. It's. But in every other game, bro, especially in big games, you have like clear opportunities, big opportunities that are created. In this game specifically, you didn't do what you normally do. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm looking at it from. I don't hate Liverpool, bro. Like, I don't speak on Liverpool in a manner that I hate them, okay? Like, I'm not sitting here hating on your team. I'm looking at it from a perspective of what the game looked like from a non-biased. I didn't have a horse in the race. I don't care. It's not like I think my team's gonna come and win. I want you to win the league. I don't want Arsenal to win the league. Like to me, when I watched that game, you saw Gakpo losing duels. You saw Salah not getting on the ball enough, but when he got on the ball, super effective. Super effective. But when he didn't get on the ball enough, in my opinion. Because if he does, you guys win that game 3-4. So Bosley losing his duels. You had Diaz in the false 9. It didn't look right.
No, it looked like shit. Why are you saying all this stuff, bro? Yes, I told you we didn't do enough. But like the point was, we're able to get to a point where we could just see out a derby game where we always play like shit. We don't play well at Goodison Park. We haven't been Park in the last 4 matches. We lost 2-0 last year. People forget that. It's been 4 times at Goodison since we've beaten them. Like, we don't play well there. To have Salah do enough. But to your point, the wingbacks weren't great. Robertson and Bradley were on yellow cards in the first half. Physicality that I love from Szoboszlai was shown levels because he couldn't match the physicality of Doucouré. You bring up the midfield. Gueye was flopping around like a bitch-ass fish. Okay? So there's that. And then you have the fact that we had twice as many fouls called, but we got bullied. So how does that equate? How are we the aggressors on the fouling end? We have, but yet we got bullied. You see how it doesn't add up? Because it shouldn't be that way. The foul should be at least even. Because you're right. There's a difference. They pressed well. They contained us. Gravenberch wasn't able to get the ball in the first half. And they had to move his positioning around.
You guys kept bypassing him for no reason. I didn't understand why.
Because they ran a mid block and they had Doucouré playing the same kind of role that Szoboszlai does in our press. He was leading. Keep talking. Yeah, I'm sorry for cutting you off. I'm just so fucking.
All right, so here's my issue with it. Right, you had like it was more of like a 3, right? When in build up in the midfield, where you had Gravenberch at the point of the pivot, and then the 2 outside guys that kind of roamed into inside spaces on either side of it. My issue with what kept on going on is Gravenberch, the way that he set up in the pivot, he allowed himself to be easily marked. He would sit right behind where Beto was, and then he wouldn't move when Van Dijk would have the ball. Like Van Dijk would have the ball, he would look at him, and Gravenberch wouldn't move. Then he would have to go to the left. He goes to the left, Gravenberch still hasn't moved. Like he still didn't move. Like, and then Robertson gets pressed. Robertson goes back to Van Dijk. Gravenberch still has not moved. And I'm just like, yo, like, bro, at this point, I'm like, yo, are you okay? I'm watching this. I'm like, are you okay? Like, are you not? Are you physically okay? Because I'm watching. I'm like, yo, can we get into the spot to actually pick up the ball? I have this problem with Caicedo a lot of the time. The one person I don't have a problem with this is Lavia, because I know that Lavia understands the role because he's played his entire fucking life. Probably is my opinion. Where the 2 that we have are 8s playing the role not now. That's what they are. They're 8s playing that role now. So it's like I'm sitting here and I'm watching these guys, and they don't get into the spaces that they need to do when the ball is on one side of the pitch. And I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't know if it's an instructions thing. I don't get it. Because all they did was Beto in front of one side of him, Doucouré on the other side of him, and once once Van Dijk got the ball, the Corey would press Van Dijk. And it was just that same repetition over and over and over again. It wasn't even like Gravenberch couldn't get into spaces to be able to pick up the ball. He easily could have. All he had to do was move into the left hand space, let Van Dijk get the ball, get it to Robertson, triangle. He turns and he's up the field.
But
it never
this
happened that way.
It was, I believe it was because I was watching that save movement, but I'm watching Van Dijk bark at Bradley and Ate. Like, I don't think that the ball was supposed to recycle between them as much as the four of them, as much as it was, because of Gravenberch positioning. I think he's always supposed to, Rich is supposed to set up behind that 10.
All year he's been fantastic. Go to the left-hand side space. Wait for he'll have an incoming guy coming, incoming 8 coming close. He'll have the turn, the connection, and you're up the field. It's happened, but that's been your entire game all year, in my opinion.
Their midfield setup was different. Their midfield setup was different. I think Decore's positioning. I think Decore's a lot of problems in that game. But Szoboszlai didn't play well.
Problems all game though.
Well,
he could have had like, the thing is the chances that they missed are shameful. Like that Everton missed. There was one where the ball's going down. It's 4v2 or 4v3. Everton have the men in the air in the box, like Trent just trying to bomb up the field to pick up the ball. They lose the ball in the midfield there, and then fucking whoever, I think it was either maybe O'Brien or one of these white fools, fucking passes the ball, like drives all the way into the box, and the Corey's sitting on the outside painted area inside the box, and he gets it and curls it fucking to row 15. He had nobody in front of him. All the space in the world. He curls it to row 15. Like those.
What's his name? Hit the ball too hard.
They had were shameless. But yeah, maybe I am too harsh on them. But like they had good chances in that game. It wasn't like they just were they were terrible the entire game. They were one of them fucking old fucking Barclays Premier League, Barclays style fucking teams, bro. Them Stoke-like teams, bro. That fucking hack you all year, all game. They get a fucking set piece. They get a fucking ball into the box, fucking bouncing, and they get a draw out of it. That's some old Barclays Stoke shit. Am I wrong?
Sunday. Yeah, no VAR apparently.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Welcome to the fucking welcome. Yeah, no VAR in our fucking our FA Cup game. Brighton score a goal from off of their hand twice. It hits their hand twice. Nobody speaks on it. Nobody's gonna speak on that shit though. We just lost. That's what they speak on. It is what it is, bro. You guys will still get your dubs, though. You guys will still get your.
But these are.
You might win. I don't know. Newcastle is just a different. Newcastle is a great team too, bro. If they can stay, if Isak can stay healthy, that's the whole thing. If Isak can stay healthy, that's the question. They can manage everywhere else, but if Isak can stay healthy, they got a good team.
Yeah, I just like. I'm waiting for all these players that are just miles clear of Nunes because Nunes tripped over himself once a game. I'm waiting for these players to show up. I'm waiting for Diaz in the false 9 to look like he did.
I think that there's going to be. I think
there's a clear.
I'll be interested. I'm very interested to see what your summer is going to be like. If there's 2 teams right now in football that I want to watch their summers very closely, and that's you and Man U's. Outside of myself, of course, is you and Man U's.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two windows. Those two windows I'm going to look at and I want to watch like how you guys do it because it's interesting in two different ways to me. So I'm going to be very keen on that. We'll be doing shows on that, I'm sure. But I don't want to keep on beating you up over this one. Like I think we've had a good enough conversation on all this.
I mean, you can keep talking about how the players were shit if you want. That's fine.
No, because my players are shit too, so we're not really like we're just pulling hairs at this point.
Yeah.
But I spoke on my game. Okay. I spoke on my game. I have Brighton, and I think with Jorgensen, I do believe we can get a win. Okay.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on this. But for you, Link, until now, right? Which I do believe it'll be rescinded, but without, let's just say it's not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without slotting this weekend, do you think it's going to be any problems against Wolves?
Yeah, I do think it could be problems. It shouldn't be. It could be. No, that just sounds like I'm setting up an excuse. It shouldn't be a problem. It really shouldn't be a problem. At the end of the day, we have a grown-ass men out there. They shouldn't need they shouldn't need the halftime talk. Heitinga is good with video analysis. I'm sure he can pinpoint shit for them to look at. Like,
I mean, if you have Heitinga on your bench there, bro, it's like easy,
yeah, we're chilling.
in my
That's
opinion.
yeah,
Easy in my opinion, bro.
The thing is, like, if these players are
good
actually
enough
for
to be
real,
a manager in another league, bro. Like he's good enough to be the manager of another team.
Yeah,
but
it's like if we're supposed to win the league, a manager being out shouldn't be the end of the world. The players still have to kick the ball at the end of the day. Yeah.
Plus, I think a lot of people are dropping points this weekend.
Why you say that?
I think it'll be a shell shock for Arsenal.
You think Rude's got something for him?
I think we have a chance of winning. But Newcastle plays City.
Mm-hmm.
And what are we worried about Forest? They could lose in any game. Any game.
That's the thing. Bro, that's the thing. Like, Forest is playing so well, and you have to give them their prop of the day. The fact that they're Forest means that they could drop points at any given time.
Game. We saw what happened. They got bopped for 7.
Yeah,
they bopped someone for 7. They got bopped 5-5, right? By Bournemouth, and then they bopped somebody else by 7. It could be either or any game week. So who knows?
I think we're in the second half of the season.
They at least, the one thing that they have is they have at least some depth at striker, which not a lot of teams can say they have.
Yeah, I was going to see.
If you look at all the teams in the top 5, like even yourselves, is like you have. It's the one thing you do have. I mean, but you have a Jota who's injury prone, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have Nunez, who you don't really trust that much. I mean, you do, but they don't trust that much.
No, I'm not disagreeing.
And then you have your Diaz, who's like our Nkuku. It could be a game where he could be amazing and he could score a goal or 2, and it could be a game where he is nowhere to be found.
Mm-hmm.
So, like with them, they at least have Wood, Awani, and then they have a young striker. On top of all that, they have Wood, Awani, and a young striker.
Mm.
They're the only team with real depth. Newcastle only have Isak and a young striker. Man City only have Haaland, and then they have their false 9 equivalent to Nkuku of Marmoush. But Marmoush ain't going to be doing much up top by himself anyways.
Yeah.
It'll look like Nkuku. I'm being serious. It'll look like Nkuku. like false nines are dead because you still need a presence in the box, kind of regardless. Especially in the Premier League, you could play false nine in Europe because people give you space. In the Premier League, there's no space. Like especially when you get into the box areas, there is no space for you to be playing.
I mean, people forget that both false nine systems that worked in the Prem, they were driven by crossing. Like Pep was the low, the 6. Liverpool was Trent and Robbo, and we had players that were good in the air that were also good on the ball. Mane and Firmino was the ball. Wijnaldum was a great header of the ball. I wouldn't say Wijnaldum was, but Mane and Firmino definitely.
That's actually not necessarily true, Rosalind. Right now, high tempo football is not necessarily it. It's how quickly can you move the ball, not necessarily how fast you can move. Like that's what is the key to football right now is can you move the ball quickly and effectively? And the only way to do that effectively nowadays is to have systems. Okay, because the idea of just wait until you start seeing Barcelona. The greatest idea, the best perception of it is this: just wait until Barcelona plays an Italian team in a tie. Okay, and watch what happens to Yamal. I know Yamal is a brilliant player, but you think Inter is going to let Yamal do anything?
No.
Nah, Inter will put 3 man on that dude, bro. He'll be taken
they're gonna
out
have
at the
a
halfway
left
line.
back, a left
At
center
least
back,
one, at
and
least
a
3 to 4 times a game, he's getting taken out at the halfway line. Like these guys,
yeah. You
like
don't
the
let
way that
Yamal
these
get
teams
started.
are being, the way that these teams are being played, especially in the Premier League, they play tight, compact football. So you have to, especially in their own box. Most teams are very compact, especially on the lower end of these things. So and even when it doesn't even necessarily have to be compacted to their box. It could be compact from their box to the midfield, to the center mid, and play a mid block that could really suffocate you. Because then you're just passing it around in your area, and they can actually counter from those spots. But they're susceptible to balls over the top, aka what we're dealing with Brighton this week, right? A mid-table team that wants to play a mid-block, and they're susceptible to a top ball over the top.
Right. And
so
and to Rose's point, it's not that it's tempo, but it's the ability to change your tempo through the speed of your play. Like you have to be able to flip that switch on a counter or put the game down and take the sting out of a game. And yes, for sure, you have to win your duels. If
your
people
duels.
say duels, nice, duels, it's a nice noun, but at the end of the day, duels are one-on-one battles. You know, the synergy of the team means absolutely if you're losing individual battles every time you make a defensive action or every time you're on the ball. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah, 100%. No, and we'll see. We'll end up seeing what happens. I'm not too worried about either of our clubs in the end. I do think both of our clubs will end up hitting the targets that we thought we would hit at this point now. I still thought we would hit. I still think we'll hit top 4 or top 5. I said top 5 from the beginning of the season. I think we'll probably get top 5. Right?
Yeah.
I think you guys will win the league from this point. I mean, there's no much to it.
Yeah, for sure. What you were saying earlier about the window, I look at any negative performance I see from a player now. I go, is this player getting sold? Outside of starters, but Diaz, anytime he has a bad performance, is this was going to get him sold? Jota, anytime he has an injury, is he getting sold? Is a big question mark that the question mark gets smaller and smaller because you find out more and more reports. So Nunez is probably gone. That's 3 people. We're going to have to buy someone in midfield. I don't know if we're losing any midfielders. And then we have defenders on their last legs. So yeah. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
still
like I said, bro, you're
week
like
23.
why I say what I said earlier. If there's a team, like our window shouldn't be that interesting. Like we probably know, I could probably tell you what my window is going to be right now. Like where you have no idea what's going to
No idea. I don't have
happen.
the
You have,
slightest
like
indication.
see for me at least, Blink. I'm like, all right, we're getting Liam Delap.
Yeah.
Knowing this ownership group, they'll probably put the bread for Hoyson because he's 19 years old. I'm being serious. Like you don't think that
No, you're right.
these guys are not. This guy is 19 years old. Has a 50 million release clause. You don't think he'll just go put it down on him? You're sadly mistaken. That's exactly what these fucking guys would do. For a 19-year-old that has that type of potential, that's exactly what that this sporting group would do. And then one
You're
of
100% right.
and to be honest, it's probably Bino Gittins. We'll probably try to go get Bino Gittins. That's going to be the winger. We'll use like Carney and KDH and all this other shit for trade bait when fucking Dortmund leaves. Oh, and Graver, I love Hoyson. I love Hoyson. But if you don't think that this ownership group, the way that this ownership group has moved so far, they wouldn't just pay 55 million right away for that kid. As long as he's not injured at the end of the season, I almost can guarantee it. It's a 55 million pound release. I think it's euros or pounds, one of the two. Release clause. I guarantee it. Guaranteed, bro. Guaranteed. They would go and they trigger that shit. Guaranteed, bro. They trigger it without selling another center back. That's how quickly they trigger that shit. I'm being so serious, especially a player of like 19 years old, has his breakout season in the Premier League. Everyone's talking about him as the next big thing in Spain. Next to be able to play next to Kubarasi.
We're going for him too. It'll be interesting to see if we have any balls in this transfer window. We're going to be looking at Houston as well with you, club.
This is a Rose Lynch. The reason why couldn't get Tell is a good question. I don't really know why we couldn't get Tell, but a 10 million pound loan fee for 6 months is crazy. That's crazy numbers. Like that's insane. That's fucking money for. That's insane money for 6 months.
I don't think it would have been the same sum if you guys went for him. I think that was Bayern pulling a fast one on Spurs and saying, we don't want to pay this full Harry Kane fee.
So they got
don't
some
think
off
any
the
actual.
Kane. Yeah. They got some money off the Kane fee. That's why it was 10 million. That's why it was 10 million. Is what you're saying. They got 10 million off the Kane fee. They didn't actually have to spend it.
Yeah. They still owe Spurs.
Yo, that's actually chunk of the Kane. Link, that's a brilliant actual bro, like third level thinking type shit. Third level thinking type shit.
Bro. I don't want to take credit for it though. I want to say a Spurs that last week, but that's
that's third level.
I think that's why they did it.
That's great. To me, that's actually that could make all the sense. That makes so much more sense, bro. To me, that makes 10 times more sense. If you ask me what it is, 10 times more sense. But with Gittins, Dortmund were never going to sell in January. Just because they have to try to at least show that they're fighting for Champions League for the rest of the season. And selling Gittins without a replacement would be impossible to do so. They're already in a pretty bad spot though. Outside of their Champions League, like how they're playing in Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
They're in a pretty bad spot in the league right now. Like they keep on losing to some pretty average teams, and they're not very deep. So they play their best squad out in the Champions League a lot of the times.
Yeah.
And Garassi just doesn't seem to score in Bundesliga, but he keeps on scoring in Europe. So
Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
What time is it?
I'm yeah. We're at it's 6:30 for you.
We're chilling. We're chilling.
Yeah, I know. That's why we
Yeah,
started. I
it's
wanted to start a bit earlier, so we got to shoot the shit a bit. But yeah, like fucking. I just think Gittins in this window. I think Gittins in this window would have been impossible. I wish we did get Tell. I'm still. He's a bitch for not taking the opportunity to come to us, but I don't think he wanted to leave Brighton. Period. Brighton kind of just was like, "Yo, you're not gonna play if you don't leave."
yeah. He didn't want to leave Bayern.
He didn't want to leave Bayern, bro.
No, they take care of their French out there in Bavaria.
But he didn't want to leave Bayern, bro. And fucking the goal he scored for Spurs in the FA Cup against Villa, or yeah, it was FA Cup against Villa.
That was a good goal.
Is bro, that's the vision I had with him. He doesn't look like a winger, bro. He looks like a fucking striker.
Yeah,
That's
he's a
the kind of
striker, bro.
striker means.
Bro, I thank you for saying
Everyone
that
kept
because
on
you.
telling me he's a winger. A winger that we have to convert. Like, nah, bro, this kid's ready to play striker. Like, I'm telling you right now, but he shouldn't be.
There's like.
He should be surrounded with playmakers that could get him the ball in the box.
So you can
Spurs
let
don't
his
got none
technical
of that
ability
shit.
shine there. And it's like people just
fucking Spurs don't got none of that shit.
it's cool to show up.
Creators, bro. That midfield's terrible.
It's not supposed to be though. It's so weird to me, bro.
It's imbalanced.
One of those on paper. That's what it.
Yeah, on paper, but you can't play fucking. You can't play.
You can't play it on paper.
He wants to play a three midfield diamond, and he has to be a three midfield reverse triangle, and he should be playing a fucking pivot with a 10. And when they do play with a pivot in the 10, they're capable. But now they don't have him they don't have a 10 outside of Kulusevski because Madison's injured. Ben Johnson's injured. So what you do is you make it a 3 because you don't have a choice. So who else can you play on the right wing?
Exactly. And isn't Odegaard hurt as well?
Correct. Son is just a shell of himself. Pretty sure Timo's also injured. Mikey Moore is a left winger, but he's like 17 or 18. He is like a super talent from my understanding, though.
Mikey Moore is 17, yeah. He's good, but again, why are you putting yourself in a position to have to rely on academy products to save your season? A London thing? Is that a North London thing?
It's a London thing at this current moment.
Like I don't. Yeah,
but I don't even know what's academy and what's not anymore because all of our players are fucking 21 or under, 22 or under.
Exactly.
I don't even know what's the academy anymore, bro.
You know, on FM when you have to register your players before the season, and you look at your numbers of players that you have registered, 3, because they'd all be under 21. but I didn't want to forget
exactly
this.
selfie, son.
Like
3 guys, 4 guys are fucking. You can register.
actually registered.
Under 21. That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
homegrown
son.
under 21, bro.
The
But it's
entire
like,
fucking squad's gonna be homegrown, bro. Be dead serious. People don't
and I've been,
understand what this ownership groups are already trying to do. It's so fucking annoying, and it's annoying that they're doing
bro.
it this way because they're doing it ass fucking backwards. Normally, the way you do it is you buy the first team guys, right, and you get the first team done. Then after you get the first team done, you start buying these academy players that you could keep on, that you could like put
To
in
keep
the
the
team
pipeline.
and, like, to keep the pipeline going. These guys started the pipeline without first doing the first team. It's fucking ass backwards, bro. It's literally ass backwards. They go, let me build this pipeline of players, and then we'll worry about the first team as we go. Fucking 3 years later, we have one striker who's of age. Not even at least 20 years old. You is not even 20 yet. You is not even 20 years old yet. Bro, Gil is going to be a monster, by the way. Okay? Like, eventually, Nico's being sold and Gil's taking his spot. Like, that's what I believe. Like, it's going to end up being Nico sold, Gil takes his spot. I really believe that within the next 2 years.
We'll see.
Because we're going to buy a striker, right? And Delap and Gil are more similar to than what Nico is. Ball striking, knowing how to play like the position.
Physical stature, box press, yada, yada,
physical stature, like body control, ball control, ball striking, very similar in player. Nico don't got no ball striking. I'm being serious. Nico's gonna be Villa's backup striker in 2 years. I'm being dead ass. Villa's backup or starting striker, if as long as Emery's still there. Because I could see Arsenal buying Watkins in the summer because they can't afford Isak, and then Villa trying to get Nico from us from after buying the lap.
Okay. That won't be bad. But it's just.
And then we're stuck in the same position. What are you talking about? We're stuck in the same position just with the lap instead of Nico Jackson.
Yeah, and it's also it's like
striker.
You're asking your almost man development come from within instead of from the recruitment that you're doing. Like, you're not recruiting to take it to the next level. You're recruiting to just solidify, in my opinion.
I mean, I don't mind the lap, but it should be the lap and somebody else, and you sell Nico still. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
All right. Well, I gotta head out. You today was great. Got to chat with you, but it was all the energy and emotion I didn't think I had about the game came out today. So yeah, fuck Everton, fuck Jordan Pickford, fuck Michael Oliver.
Mission accomplished.
Liverpool
you should
36.
go watch the end of Ahmed's stream today and tell me I didn't accomplish my mission. Now I exposed myself because I wanted to do this to you today. So go watch to the end of Ahmed's stream, like while you're leaving. Go to what and tell me I didn't accomplish my mission. See you later, bro. Hey, as everybody knows, this is Wabbslink. We'll see you guys next week, probably on Tuesday, more than likely. The beard will be all cleaned up because I'm getting a trim today. So we're gonna get this beard all nice and cleaned up and shit. But hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And as you guys know, we always leave you with fucking Kobe.
How much more do you want from me?
More.
How much more successful do you want me to be?
More successful.
How many records can my records break?
More records.
But I'm the best.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What the does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
You're welcome.
What the is he talking about?